Oh, okay. So, these times have changed. I do not have this because the final part of the medieval version of things ended with that reveal. So, this one, which was under development, I think. Oh man, I think after the third campaign I developed. So this takes us back into, well, not back, same forward. Let me do that. So I'm taking this forward in time towards a more modern era thing, and well, it's not really the exact music I'd want to use for that, but I'm kind of starting us off where I would have started this whole thing because kind of want to set the tone and the exact like atmosphere I guess I was kind of going for and what it all sort of entails. So yeah, this is 1980. Oh man, I think it's 1986. So I start this playing in 1986. I didn't want to have it too modern because I didn't want to have to deal with the fucking technologies and stuff, and I figured keep it a little more grounded so it feels a little more trapped and isolated in a way. And the only like outside communication you can really throw out there to like distance wise, because there wasn't cell phones at this time. You just had the landlines, which you can see on this desk. Um, Otherwise, the radios, uh, shortwave radios didn't really work out so well because I think there was walkie talkies, but they weren't that great. And then there were like the police scanner ones, which pushed their, I don't know, 10 mile, or I don't know how long it was, but I didn't do the quite so research into that. But still, I don't think it was gonna get to that point anyways, because this isn't a military cooperative. I base this solely off of police investigations. So you are a police officer in the force. I haven't quite designed what the police station looks like or nothing, but it's inside a city called Pine City, nestled in the area of sort of like jagged pines forest. I wanted to kind of make the trees kind of twist bend, making them look. There's probably a one name for these pine trees, but that's just what I named it. And so yeah, I had this whole thing start out in a restaurant. I mean, say like you're out going to eat, usually breakfast or something before you go to work or some crap, and then you get the call. They're setting up a small task force. For introductions purposes, um, there was a couple detectives, one's lead detective, that were on that force, and then I think there were like what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total officers with that, and there's the chief of the police station, which is a real old guy, and he's quite the bastard. And he's sort of, when you're on his shit list, he puts you on the crummy, dirty jobs. And so, to kind of besmirch and like hold out on record that when police don't necessarily get their job done or they're like fucking up or not doing anything correctly, uh, he can reprimand them, get them transferred, get them the fuck out of there if enough strikes get counted on their record. And so he put this made this group together uh, with the captain having to like manage it. And so, yeah, and he was going to try to sabotage it in whichever way possible. But they kind of set them on sort of this like wild goose chase. It was sort of this cold case that was developed. I think is I was going to do like 71 sort of cold cases, and well, the cold case ended up with a bank robbery at some form of kind, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. And it was very strange, like happenings with it, and there was a de facto kind of like dysfunction within the like robbers, and they got them all, but I think only one of them survived. No, I think they all died, and only one got away, and they could never find that one person. And they found that nothing was really stolen at all, but everything was broken into. Uh, so was said. So whoever's not claiming what was calculated, it was scrubbed from whatever was stolen. So he had them lead on that investigation, trying to chase down this wild goose chase. Uh, because of a certain lead that came up, which I think in terms led to a gang. And so they were going to do like reconnaissance, wiretapping, all that kind of crap with payphones, and if they can get inside their houses or establishments, they were going to do that with the phones. And so they were going to try uh, with that, but the two detectives that were there were actually more interested in the missing persons cases that were happening around the woods. And so they said that because I think that they had an informant talk about that there was, for what reason and purposes, that the records were scrubbed of what was exactly at that bank were not there, but through like lead of a lead, they managed to like sort of piece together that somebody with high stature and power within the city and government holds ties with whatever to get things scrubbed. So they must have known the bank manager, which is who they were pressing more so. But the bank manager went missing, supposedly on a hiking trail up in those woods, because it's apparently very beautiful to go up there and all that. But people less and less over the years have stopped doing that because of the missing persons thing. I mean, the chief just goes out on record every time he's got to publicly speak about this crap and just say they just moved on and they just don't want to talk to nobody no more because there is no evidence of foul play or nothing. They just go. There's no predation, no nothing, because there is nothing. They don't find a body, no struggle or nothing. Because cops do, they do send cops out with some park rangers and they never find anything. And so, yeah, so they were suspecting there's a coordinated effort and the city might be actually bought out. It's their conspiracy. They haven't really pieced together the whole puzzle, but uh, on the down low, they were going to do that because they didn't know if they trusted the captain so well or all the other officers. So these two detectives would like try to like do their thing. And so it reached a point after all the wiretap and all that, and kind of leading to nothing with this gang members just drug dealing and crap. And it's sort of using up resources, and Chief comes down and kind of like reprimanding them, whatever, what have you, saying I'm gonna have your badge if you don't get this done. And so, um, I think that they shake down. Where is the character? I think it was. It was a dude in the records company or something. his character. I think that he might be in the other campaign. Because I called this one Darkness. I have 3 separate campaigns for this. Yeah, I don't remember his name, but he was some guy, city office or something, with the files and shit. And yeah, he worked underneath somebody and saw them doing the shred the files, and he briefly saw what it was, and it was the statements and stuff. Because he thought that seemed like some very important information as he was like bringing the crap to the dude. But he never spoke up because he was threatening his job and what have you, and he figures, I gotta make ends meet. But they shook him down, got the information, and found out that it was a shit, who was it? I think it was the Suarez brothers. Is that their last name? They're Mexican brothers that are like, yeah, Suarez brothers. They're like lead distributors within the city. Like they have a spot on the council. They sort of own the rail line that goes in and out of the city. Kind of what goods gets in, goes out. Because they're the biggest distribution center for like sending semis and train cargo and all that kind of crap. So they find out that they were the ones that had the bank that was getting stolen from. And so they tried to track down these brothers, and one of them apparently went missing, like a bunch of other people, woods and stuff. And the other one, I believe, what was it? I think he had a house set up, nestled like deep into those woods, sort of like northwestern of it. And so they were gonna go there to tail him. I don't think that his house was exactly in the woods, like deep, but it's like sort of nestled kind of into it, but it's just far out the city, northwest. And so, like, as they did the shakedown, the guy, because they would have had people sort of keeping tabs on the whereabouts, because they kind of wanted to get all these people canned, because either they were dysfunctional, they didn't want to like play game with whatever was going on, because it's, I mean, at this point you can kind of tell the chief's fucking corrupt. And so yeah, so various reasons why all these officers are in the pool is sort of that they aren't trusted, and one way or another they're going to be getting rid of them. And so as they were able to suss out that they were doing that crap, and they found out that information, and then they didn't want to get out what was stolen, so they didn't want that guy getting found out. So as they got there, there was a struggle in the building, and some guy looked like he put up a fight, but the dude wasn't there. And so I believe the captain that runs their operation found out, got pissed off, but it seemed that he was interested in it enough, because he found their information documents, the red string pin stuff and whatever they got through their whole investigation so far. And he was interested enough to not report to the chief directly so he wouldn't know anything about it. Oof. So to try to keep it under wraps, so these detectives could still operate their covert kind of operations. They don't know, like the chief himself. I don't think that at this point I had him be the guy to be the one that keeps tabs on him, but it was sort of a like underground kind of shady shit kind of going on. Uh, People, you don't know what mystery. And then, so they were still led on the case. They find, I think it was a semi information that sort of ties in with this old dude who helped found the city, I guess. Because there were in and out letters or something from him to them. Just sort of like talking like code words, like is the like this product here, but it wouldn't be exactly because I mean it's say stupid shit that makes no sense. Like, are the acorn shipments there? Like, huh? Who the fuck has acorn shipments? Like full containers full of acorns? And so, yeah. And then it would like follow up with stuff like how's progress going and whatever, but there wouldn't be any like letter outgoings for him to send out, but it's just some letters and stuff that are sort of just strewn about that are kind of like that, but it's not really set to like very be that incriminating, but it's very suspicious. So they were gonna follow up with sort of figuring out what that dude has in tandem with him. But at this moment in time, a it's a fucking governor. I think it was the governor got burglarized at his estate, and I think his granddaughter got kidnapped. And the maid got killed, and his grandson lived and witnessed it. So, um, so what the chief did. Here, I'm gonna change to a. Okay. So what the chief did was go into this operations room and sort of put them on priority because they need all hands on deck. And so he has a separate set of officers doing their investigation at the estate and what have you in town and other leads. And he wanted them to go out into the woods because things are getting haywire because we don't know what the burglars wanted or what their motives were, but they have that, and it pressed them to do some very strange, odd behaviors, uh, especially like yeah. And so it seemed like he was sort of in a panic, kind of sweaty, sort of tapping his head with a cloth or something. And I mean, tasking him with that sends them out there. He gives them no like resources or information. He just says, "Go out there and look." And he's got the SWAT team at their house right now, sort of armed up and going like hot on the trail. So he has like within his jurisdiction to do that. And he wants to keep it under wraps before it gets too public, and he wants it over with quickly. And so he sort of sends them off into an area. Like he says that's kind of where the trail went cold, and he's gonna. How did it go? Yeah, I don't think that he led them on to what was happening at the estate. I think he had them send out over there as misleading as possible to have them go there and say that's where the trail went cold. We want you to pick it up. pause your investigation right now. Go do that because he was alternatively trying to get them out there to like get killed by wildlife that's out there, or if so happens like whoever's got this guy paid off in the corrupted sector, or how he's corrupted, if they were going to make their move and ice these officers. So yeah, they were sent out there, and so what the captain did for their group was he hired a sort of like, I don't know, he's kind of an asshole, but he's like not that sort of keen on making friends kind of dude who lives out in the wild in his like cabin. He knows the land well and stuff, and the animals and things, and he's a good hunter. And so, like, he knows him outside more so than most people. And so he, like, persuaded him to come help. And I think that his persuasion was more led on to, like, because I think this dude's brother went missing. And so it gives him the opportunity to try to investigate, because he's been out in the woods looking for him for so long. And he said that this might actually open up the case and get everything involved, all the resources they possibly can. So he was on board and went to go help these officers to go out into these woods and go do this. And then I'll come back to all the stuff that was happening in the background with that estate and things with the SWAT. So they go out. By vehicle, but they can only go so far. So they have to go on foot. They travel through woods. Okay, so, I mean, they spend quite the time out there through these woods. I mean, it does get to a point where it's getting in the evening. It's not as dark as what I have for a picture here, but they get to a sort of, it's one of those like abandoned log cabin places. It still looks like you go in and like sleep in it, live in it, but it's like, cobwebs and, kind of looking a little like it might collapse, might not. But, you could essentially stay in it with weather conditions around and be out of the rain and things. So, I mean, they get to this spot, and the dude who's out hunting says that he's been across this place before, but he's never seen so much, like, because around the area it looks like a big fight happened, and they find bullet casings around, and then, like, blood sort of on the side of the building. The detectives and, they follow the guy in, sort of like doing their own forensics in a way. They were going to probably try to call this in. That was before one of the officers get jumped by one of these wolves. And I mean, the damn thing looks like it's got rabies. And the officer just barely, like, dodges the thing from, like, trying to nab out on his freaking arm as he's like, what the fuck's this noise in this bush? I mean, they try bolting out the door, but everything happens so fast. A couple officers like shoot, because I mean they know what rabies is out here. They've because this city, I don't know what the fucking population was actually. Did I even put what the population was? No, I don't. It might be in the other campaign. I'm thinking that this might be somewhere between 100,000, maybe 200. That's I don't think that's right, though. Because the city's, uh, it's quartered off from a river that splits off. So there's three sections. It sort of like comes, like you're looking at it on a map. The river would come down from the north, and then it would split. So it'd be kind of a upside down V coming from that. And so there'd be a section of like, this one's the industrial section with the warehouses and stuff, and suburbs sort of mixed in with the where the police station is on the left, warehouse on the bottom, and then like the suburbs sort of down there in the bottom left, and then like the more businessy, there's like a skyscraper on the top right, and that's kind of like the inner city. And then like at the sort of area where it splits off in that V coming down, there's like, a good lake in there. And they had sort of building set up on that island in the middle, but I'll get to that when I move on to the second part. So, where was I? Population. Well, I'm just saying that people would normally go out when it wasn't like this, like, oh, spooky, scary side story kind of stuff. I mean, there would obviously be the kind of shit people would talk about, like Native American legend lores, but it's like people don't really pay attention or care to that shit, like ghost stories. And so they're dealing with the rabid dog or wolf, and I mean, the couple officers shooting at it quick while the guy's like keeping the damn thing off of him. Uh, they're good. They put the dog down, and they're like, "God damn, that was a scare." They're like, "Yeah, we better be careful. Let's hope they ain't no bears out here that got rabies, because bullets taking that thing down. You gotta, especially when you're out there with fucking pistols." I mean, McGee well, I guess his last name is McGee. That's the hunter guy. He's got rifles, so I mean that's got a little more power, but you get a big old grizzly bear charging at you. Whew. Things are scary. So yeah, the hunting cabin situation that turned and led them, because the investigation in that cabin took a little bit, half hour or something. I mean, it's getting darker because this. I wanted to encapsulate how dense this forest is. I mean, technically, you would call it a rainforest, I guess, because I took similarities from like the Alaskan rainforest to put this surrounding the city. I mean, there's other towns like spaced out between this one, but pretty damn far away. Like I'd say you'd have to drive maybe 40, 30 to 40 miles or something to get to the next town over. And it's just a giant fucking forest. So yeah, the thickness of it would, there'd still be the light out there, but I mean, with the rain cover, or god damn it, I spoiled that. So it's sort of like cloud coverage coming over, so it makes the sun more dimmed down, and then you got the trees sort of, because this is set in the. Was it early summer? I think it was August actually. It's before. Well, let me. Day. Oh, actually, they decided to put up no trespassing signs around the forest because of the disappearances, and I think that they did find some people committed suicide or something. And then it started becoming this like bad neighborhood thing for people to go hiking, so they kind of stopped that so no one could have fun. Which happened a couple months prior to all this. And so, Yeah, so that was sectioned off in May. May, June, July. So, yeah, it'd be August. Yeah, this would take place. No? Because that happens in October. So this happens in September. Huh. I don't know what day. I can't find my note. But that happens in October 6th. So then it has to be sort of close. August 19th. Nope, that's. This is the cold case. Well, the cold case happened in August. No wonder why I'm all jumbled up reading different shit. Okay, and those are just notes for gameplay. Yeah, so I guess this is September. I'm gonna say it has to be probably a week. It must be a week prior to that, so it should be towards the end of September that this is taking place. Because that makes sense because the hunter guy's got a coat like a fall jacket. Yeah. And the officers are wearing undershirts. So it's towards the end of September, so it is getting kind of chilly, but still warm in a way. But I mean, this is a pine forest, so the pines don't really change their color tone and stuff. Um. All right, so yeah, I mean, it's getting denser, darker. Kind of semi fog is filtering because you know how it happens when there's the heat and then the coolness and stuff. Kind of, I mean, the humidity in the forest that kind of evolves into that in low spots, and so which they are. So then they end up taking a walk because they follow a trail of sort to where whatever scuffled and they dragged it would drag somebody or whoever. They followed it, and do I hope I got music for all this, man. I spent so much time on this. Not so much. I guess I'll use this one. Yeah, so they happen upon some decrepit shit. Oh, good, it's in the dark. You know what? I'll just copy and paste that over to this. Yeah. Just gotta find the character sheet quick. So yeah, it's like, what do we got here? We have like, let's say, somewhere like pinned up on this wood and like rope. Looks like somebody. So somebody's body's like that. And a deer head's like cut off and placed on the person's torso, like sewn in. So like the person's head's cut off and the deer head's sewn on, and then they're like, their arms are like shaved down to the bone, like just what's that one called? The one connected to the hand. Well, either way, it's like shaved off, and like the fingers are detached, and it's sort of sharpened into like a spike, and it's like sort of hanging out sort of like a scarecrow. Very disturbing. And it's like the officer's like, holy fuck, I don't know how to get close to this goddamn thing. I mean, as they're investigating this just abhorrent scene, and they just think, oh fuck, there's a serial killer out here, has been mutilating and murdering people that get in around this area, and this is the cause of all this shit happening. And they're like, dude, we have to call this in. As they're like discussing all of this, and like the hunter guy, like, no, we should get him while we get it's good because this happened fresh, like right now. We do it now, or it ain't gonna happen. And I mean, as they're arguing, you know, they get louder and louder. More wolves show up. I mean, they gun for them. Oh wait, no, fuck. There was more to it. Okay, it's gonna happen. Sorry, the reveal. I fucked it up. I'm better when it's in the D&D thing. Okay. So there are like these like drop offs. Every now and then they come across. I don't know what we call it. Cliff, not a cliff face. Oh, maybe. It kind of like if you ever seen a quarry like if people like a stone quarry or a like a sandstone kind of quarry, like they cut into the side of the hill, and then it creates that like not. It's sort of kind of like a slope, but it's very like angled. That what's that angle? It's like up and down, but it's like slightly tilted, so you could still kind of go down it. That's the kind of slope that they're dealing with, and they find somebody's body down there. I have to. I think it's on the body on this thing. Let me look. Motherfucker. I deleted it. And then there was to be a note. Scenarios, notes of people. It is notes of people. Is it Pete? No. No. Con artist. No. Who the fuck is this guy? I can't seem to find... I cannot find the corpse of Hubert Gray. A mutilated corpse has been there a while. Unknown how old it is. Seems the wounds inflicted upon it may be animal. Officer Shaw sees a shimmering reflection off its body's finger, a ring. Upon closer inspection, the hand is grasping for help and held in place towards the sky. Must be resting on a wood, like laid back. I think he hit a tree or like fallen log. I think I said it was a fallen log thing, and his like arm is reached out kind of on it, which sort of encapsulates the ring. Is this ring important? Question mark. The ring itself is a little different from a wedding ring. It is a double loop. At the top, it has 2 round circles, and held within are small markings. The top of that is of a Pegasus, and the bottom is of a shark. So, I think they saw that he had a name tag. So it was a employee of some sort. But I kind of want to read through my GM notes here because this guy might come up later. Yep, I think this is for later. But I don't think I'm going to be able to retrace back because I didn't fully Oh, fuck, man. Because later on, you reveal this ring to a certain somebody, and then you get all the information on who this guy was and all the shit going on. So then I had people that had to pass persuasion checks and stuff. I mean, not really high, but... Either way, dude, the guy's looking pretty rough. I mean, it kind of looks like flesh has been stripped, his guts are out, his face is like half gnawed at. And I mean, he's just been kind of decaying out there for like, I don't know. Oh, fuck, let me open this back up. How many days? Ooh, this must be semi-fresh. No, I have to look at this other person's. I think this was the con artist. He knows how many days. Third day of the 6th month. July. So this guy's been decomposed almost 2 months. So, yeah. I guess it's almost been 2 months. He's been... Well, maybe not. I gotta look at that again. Fucking... Okay, I guess my times are off on this. I think set in May, and then I'm like, oh, no, now it's in June. And I have another thing here in goddamn July. I'm gonna say that I'll have to rewrite it all, that this happened in August. So I'm gonna... This is supposed to be a month out. I don't think that I said anything while we were doing the, like, brief. Well, I guess I haven't done no campaign of this. But yeah, this happens a month prior, so this body's been decomposing for about a month, and I mean, you know, usually with animals they would eat this stuff down to the fucking bone, and it's kind of strange that there's still like meat on it. Yeah, it's very strange. And so I mean, as that happens, like, because they had an officer went down there accidentally, because I mean it's getting dark, they can't see, stumbled, fell down, found the body, and you know there's the officer down there, and then the dogs, they get interrupted after doing the argument about the whole situation with that. I mean, he picks the ring obviously, and yeah, these wolves come down on them, and I mean they are just like so focused, like they don't act necessarily like they have rabies, but I mean it's looked like that, dude, and they are like freaked out. This guy is panicked for his life, trying to like hop on this like branch sticking out, like, or root sticking out of the side, trying to like fucking grab and crawl his way up. And I mean, he's getting up there, and the way I wanted it to be had with this officer was he was gonna get up there. I mean, the ring's still in his hand, he hasn't pocketed it, and I mean he had to have pocketed it. Otherwise he wouldn't have been climbing up. Okay, yeah, so he's going up. I mean, he gets almost to the top. I mean, these fucking wolves come up from the side there. I mean, they're freaking bolting fast getting up there. And then one of them manages to clip this guy's leg and like hold on, like right on there. And the guy's screaming, and I mean, they try shooting, and like, I mean, it manages to let go of its release, and I mean, the dog gets shot a couple times, but it still gets up. And, I mean, these dogs, they help pull him up, but I mean, these dogs are like, they can't get up there, so then they, after a few attempts of trying to charge up the hill and not getting there, and mind you, the one that bit him getting up from getting shot a couple times, still trying, they all like at some point stop doing the charge, and they stop, look, they charge off another direction, and they can't see too far because of this thick shit, and they're like, oh fuck, they're gonna find another way around. and it's going to cut them off because it's kind of towards where they came from. So what they have to do is pretty much follow the trail to wherever this fucking serial killer guy is, because, you know, he has to have some sort of thing, or house or something that they can defend themselves in, and they have enough people with them to kind of do that, but they have a guy limping now, so they're slower. So they go, and I mean, they're stumbling through the woods and stuff, and there's like some dogs catch up to them, and they manage to like bullet clips one of the dog's legs, causing it having a hard time trying to get up and go after them more because one of the legs are kind of busted, broken, and I mean the other one I think catches another officer, but I mean really catches them, and like they die. But miraculously they find a house. And so like they go in and bolt the doors unlocked, they get there, and then they enter. So, sole purpose and everything about whatever is happening here at this moment in time is sort of where I kind of stop with like a narrative side aspect for like a campaign in a sense. So I will have to briefly describe this house. It's a so that guy that was dead out in the woods was essentially a worker at this place, of what they don't know at this point. But it has accommodations for people like there's a rec room, dining hall, kitchen, like a bar area for them to like decompress and whatnot. Library. They also have their like various rooms. They have one set up for like certain workers for certain stuff, and then there's like I wouldn't say head office, but head bedroom for like whoever's like manager or something at this place. And I mean these doors would be variously locked intricately. So like you would need a master key because this is an old establishment. So without the skeleton key, you kind of can't like unlock every door because every door needs its own specific key. And yeah, without the skeleton key, which it's a thing for those who are too young to know that. So like yeah, the living quarters has got their own key. The kitchen staff's got their own key. They leave the dining hall open, library open. There's certain things because there's a hunters or groundskeepers kind of section of this place that has their own thing too. And so that kind of gives you the grand esteem of things. So as they enter this place, where's my... Okay, so they enter into this establishment. Lights are on. Chandelier kind of overstretching on this marble tile floor. There's a staircase that goes up and then splits off either left or right, and then there's a upper balcony, like flooring, I want to say, that overlooks them. Kind of going in a cross plus, well, not a cross plus, like an H, that where the stairs come up, like here and here. Can I do a, like, it goes down here, comes across here, and then another one that comes across here. I mean, you got your windows, and then your door. So they would travel through this area. Can I drag and bring lights through doors? No, I have this that intricately set up. Okay. Then I'll just have to describe as, like, I would have them progress. There would be, like, a door here, here, here. And upstairs would have its various doors as well. They have, like, a porch. There's a first floor and a second floor porch. And there's a staircase that leads up and down each one of them. And so, which also this porch would go off to the ground level. So, like, going out there, those wolves would be out there. And so, like, they would go through, let's say, like, dining hall. Right? They go there. There's nobody around. I mean, you can see that there was a struggle here. There's, like food that sort of rotting away on the table, stuff knocked over, displayed like it's a mess in this dining hall. I mean, you even see blood on the chairs, on the dining hall table itself, and the door leading outside into the hallway that leads into this dining hall from where you enter. Yeah, so then down the hall from that place would be the kitchen, and I mean the kitchen's a real bloodbath. It's a real mess. Like, I mean, there's just blood all over. I mean, either from like meat going bad that's there, or it, like, you can see people having severed like hands on it or whatever around, and yeah, very grotesque scene. Up and around the area to the other side, instead of going to the kitchen, you find a door that's locked, and then you'll find the bar. Yeah, but you find a guy kind of just standing there, like, just, what the fuck was he staring at? I don't know, I think he's just staring at the wall. I mean, he turns around and lunges at the officers. I mean, the dude's looking decrepit, like you'd see like a very old person look. Like, I'm talking like the bone sunken and like, yeah, but you know, his eyes look drowsy and cloudy, and he's sort of just on a undertone groan going on, like he sounds like he's in a lot of pain. And then his voice sort of, like, as he lunges out, you know, from turning around and they're interacting. I mean, whether or not he's going to take a bite or not, it could happen, but it's essentially a zombie. So, I mean, that, like, I'd have this whole, like, thing set up like this. I think that dude was the butler. He's the old butler called Old John. I mean, there's the dead con artist, which sort of calculated the days and the deterioration of this place and what happened. You find the guards that were guarding this place that they don't have their guns on them anymore. Or bullets, but they got, like, the gear, like vests and stuff, but they're kind of torn up, and they look really brutalized. And I mean, you see people hang themselves, or, you know, gun bullet to the head, they off themselves. And then other various zombies that sort of looks like they find some of them that would have wallets or something, and it'd be like the missing persons from the all the shit going bad. There's a very sad tale of the kids that lived here. I don't know. I think that somebody else owned this place. So this was a secretive documented establishment that was been out here since like the early 19th century, I think. I think after World War One, I'm saying. Maybe World War Two. I'm not sure which one. But yeah, it was built, and there's like three, four, four people that established a weapons manufacturing and like hospital establishment and what have you. They have a lot of ties in with the government and with the Russian syndicate, and yeah, so these kids would have been the grandchildren of this guy who owned this house, which I think that old dude I mentioned earlier that had the letters and stuff, talking with that Suarez dude. You find out that that dude was sort of betrayed and killed because you will find a little pedestal monument or something, like a keepsake thing, where his gravestone is. It's not in sight for like his family to find, but it was sort of like if that dude were ever to visit this place, that he would go visit that grave to either mock it or talk to it. I didn't know where I was gonna put it, but it's gonna be there. And so like the nanny was gonna be like the best defense to this whole like falling. She ended up having to drown the kid in the tub because he showed signs and was deteriorating, turning into one. The granddaughter would have like panicked or something and ran off, and the old nanny couldn't chase after her to stop her from turning. Either way, she didn't stop the kid from turning because he comes out of the fucking bathtub at some point. Like, I'm talking some like grudge, whatever that goddamn one where that kid sounds like a cat, and then there's that. It's that fucking Japanese one. I don't know what it is. But it was gonna be some shit like that coming out of the tub, scaring people. You find this nanny and her documents kind of in her own like, I don't know, her reading lounge area or something. She tried to blow her brains off with a gun that still has 4 bullets. Holds 5. It's a revolver. Yeah, she didn't quite get to where you needed to end your life when it comes to this infection. And so she's gonna be a zombie as well. It's kind of first floor shit. I mean, there's a groundskeeper. Why did I even bother with that? I have to do that on my end. Because it's too hard to navigate that on that side of the screen. So yeah, these animals outside, I mean, they never really got a good look aside from that one. And I mean, it still had its fur and everything, but it just like its mouth was sort of frothing and, you know, the signs of rabies that a normal animal would. But these ones that were chasing them, you could see like a rib cage showing. I mean, their bodies were deteriorated. These were fucking zombie dogs chasing them. And so at some point, the guy that did get bit would end up turning. I think within 24 hours, I want to say, because I kind of set it up to stack up infections from 1 to 10. And every, like, however that maths out, every 2 hours you get a stack of infection if you don't get hit again. And there was going to be like a vaccine or something developed because there was going to be on the 2nd floor where you would have found the elder granddaughter, which I think the granny wasn't able to kill because she struggled and fought off the other younger nanny, which got her turned before she could do that, and managed to lock her inside a like 3-way area hallway. It's a small little hallway section, but managed to like keep her in there, and then she was going to be a very tough zombie to deal with, that other younger nanny. like I was gonna kind of make her like the witch from Left 4 Dead, sort of. And so yeah, you were gonna find the elder daughter. She was gonna be dead in the bed, just laying there. And I mean, I didn't really have it. I was gonna try to write more of a story with her, but I never got to it because there was gonna be like, because the granny didn't kill her, so she was able with her mind like jot down stuff and how scared she was and hearing things and seeing stuff happening outside as some people would try fleeing, like that Hubert Gray guy. Um, yeah. Other things. I mean, aside from finding certain puzzle stuff, overcoming that, and certain blocker weapons, some of these zombies would actually start turning like brutish in a way. I wasn't gonna have them exactly be like that younger nanny chick where she was gonna be like the witch from Left 4 Dead, but they were gonna kind of be a more like. I guess I was gonna kind of copy the Crimson Head idea from the Resident Evil 1 remake, and then I was gonna call them ghouls instead. Like they had a like regenerative ability as you try it like attacking them. Because it seemed like their flesh would coagulate and sort of repair itself, but it'd still be in like a decomposed state from however long they'd been like rotting in between the infection. So they'd still maintain whatever original form they had, but as the virus took control, that would be, it would preserve whatever it controlled. I mean, if it got to skeleton and bone, it had nothing to control. So I mean, fire is effective, obviously. So, I mean, eventually those things would start turning into that. I would make checks to see if those would or not. Then you'd find the huntsman, and this dude was the serial killer, and he was working together. I mean, he'd go out there and shoot and kill some of these people. Like, do a whatever fucking hunt human kind of thing with the, that old dude that shared the documents with Suarez, that old guy. They just release one of their prisoners and go out and hunt and kill it. Either with dogs or they just go out and just find it, shoot it, because people just get lost in those woods and they would know in and out of their area. And they'd set traps around too. So, yeah, you find out that, and that they actually hired a actual serial killer. I think I called him Mr. White or some shit. Yeah. Wherever he pop up, probably in the other second part. So yeah, then there was going to be one of the last researchers, which he was trying to synthesize something to fight back against this infection that was taking place in this place. It lists that there was a research facility nestled in between a water facility, I think I want to say, or a hydro plant. Yeah, and so he like locked away the door and ran with the key, and everybody that was down there were dead, so he sort of tried to keep that out from leaking initially, but the I think it went airborne because that's what got the people there, and the ventilation sort of seeped into this building and it caught a few people, and yeah, it just kept getting out of hand. And I mean, he was trying to work with the old nanny to kind of quarantine it off, and eventually it just hit a point where they all ended up getting infected because that lab was slowly leaking into their building, and they couldn't ventilate it all out because it's an old ass building. And I mean, to get all these goddamn windows open, and yeah, so we're gonna and then the dogs get infected, they hop in, and then yeah. Either way, this dude does end his life, when he gets towards the end. But I mean, he develops a like thing, but he's too far gone, and he like says to like whoever finds this to like please carry on, and you need to get into the lab or bring it to a lab and synthesize more, because they have a machine operation that would have the things necessarily set up so they could make duplicates of this crap. So it would lead you down to the lab section. And I kind of haven't written anything about the lab section at all. I mean, there's some story to it, but I don't have any, like, how its blueprints are, really. So I kind of want to dial back to, you would find somebody here, which would have been the Suarez guy that they kidnapped and brought him there. Or no, they found one of the other brothers. So the one that they kidnapped, they don't know, but the other one that went missing was there. And he seemed to have locked himself up in a solitary, like, confined, like, shelter, bunker shelter sort of situation, and I mean, they managed to get it unlocked and everything and find out that guy, and then the ring reveal, and then the dude tells you the story of Hubert Gray, and he worked for them, and all the shit that's happening, that the 4 original founders and that dude backstabbed guy and killed him, and I think I said his name was Edmund something. That was the old dude. Edmund Kingsley or Briarwitch? Edmund Briarwitch. That's the old dude. Edmund Briarwitch. And he said that when the Russian syndicate, whatever fucking dude representative of them showed up to sort of see how things were going, when that dude showed up is when everything went wrong, because then that dude left shortly after, then all this shit happened. So the dude was backstabbing whatever this company was and taking for himself and his Russian crap, and caused this whole thing to collapse down in on itself. Eventually you'd find out there's going to be a betrayal, and that dude's going to end up dying, no witnesses, and then, you know, it tandems off and you fight each other, and, you know, the good guy's going to prevail from this, obviously, because the story has to go on. And then, so now I'll take you back. So when they were traveling, when the dogs were chasing them, they got split up, so both detectives split off. So one would be at this entrance area going through all that, and the other one would end up at the train, like, it's a place where they take the trains out and switch them up with different cabooses and other trains and stuff. I don't know, just some sort of train yard thing. But that's also how they got their employees out there, without any roads. So, marshalling yard, I think that's what it's called. I wasn't able to finish it quite so much, but there was gonna be some people alive here. Either somebody was hiding in the offices, or like knocked unconscious, and others would be getting like eaten alive at the moment in time. They kind of show up, they'd hear the screams, and then see that zombies, like, I mean, they would be in the thicket of that instead of like the progressiveness that house was gonna be. So they were going to end up having to fight a few zombies coming in, and then the dog showing up, and then having to talk with this guy, get a key to get down, and then they were going to travel through a subsection and get to the water treatment facility. Which it's not that one. I don't know where the fuck it is. Oh, there it is. So, they were gonna get to this water treatment facility. I believe there are people going to die on the way because that subsection travel path area was going to lead them kind of up into like a rocky kind of mountainy area, but it's not the mountains. There's still going to be trees and thickets and stuff, and they're going to end up having to deal with more aggressive animals, like for variants. Like, I mean, there was going to be a bear, there was going to be other shit too. But I mean, they were going to overcome it, but some people were just going to die off. And there's nothing you could do. You take cover in one of the facility buildings. I had Mr. White there, and then a couple of employees. And I mean, this dude was gonna like secretively just start murdering people. Like all of a sudden, this person's dead, or like you're talking to somebody who comes out of unconsciousness and wants to tell you a big reveal, and then he's killed. Like somebody shoots him through a window. You couldn't quite make out who it was, but they ran off like almost instantly. Because people they would separate, right? They'd split off because you'd have too many people. And I mean, like, Scooby ganging everybody together in a huddle is not smart. Especially in these narrow pathways. So, like, there would still be, like, maybe one or two officers still alive. But then there was going to be security as well. And they'd be like, okay, you take your group that way, I'll take my group this way. And, like, we got to, because what they were telling them when they showed up was that this facility was gonna have a meltdown or something, so they had to restore it. But they were not the engineers. The engineers are pretty much risen dead and undead, coming to gnaw and bite at you. There were a couple of them, and one of them, the serial killer, shoots and guns down while he's trying to feed you some information about the serial killer that killed his colleagues and why they're risen up from the dead. And so you do find another one. And I mean, this guy ends up having to go into a very highly intoxicated, radiated area. I mean, this dude's already bitten. He's like, fuck it, I'm dead anyway. So he goes in, properly shuts down this facility, which in turn shuts off all the fucking lights in the manor. So this was going to happen simultaneously as people were traveling through the manor. Then this thing was going to become pitch black and dark. And then I was going to have, like, thunder crash and whack, and then it's like fucking spooky shit happening. But the lab itself has backup, like, generator and stuff, so it's gonna still have light. So does this water treatment facility, but it's running on like gas, so it's only a certain amount of time before it does power down. But so they'll travel from there to the lab, and that's where they would have met up, whoever survived at this point, because people were just gonna be dying. And so they would have found the Suarez dude, or meet up at some point in between, find either the betrayal was gonna happen there or it happened earlier and it was dealt with. Was there gonna be a big boss fight? I don't think there really was. Wait, I had something called the Goliath? What the fuck is this? Okay, yeah, I guess there was. It's gonna be an abhorrent, like, twisted, because they were doing experiments and stuff on bodies, like missing people's. Some of them you could recognize, others are not, but yeah, this thing was gonna be very, like, it was gonna be like, I think a 7-foot, not like muscular, but sort of grotesque, misshapen, sort of like a fatty in a way. It was gonna hit hard, and it would just charge into you, smash into you, and I mean, once it like died, the thing was going to explode on its death. Like, it would send shrapnel from inside of its body, like the bone inside. Because the thing was apparently installed with the whatever explosive once the... I think... When something gave out in it, I don't know what. I don't have a note. But that was my vague concept of it. Yeah, I mean, then at some point there was going to be a radio system. They were going to be able to try to call in a chopper, which I think they do? Ooh, but I think maybe that's what happened with the betrayal. They find out here, maybe. I don't think I had whoever was betraying them die. I think I was going to have them be the person to radio in a helicopter. They get there, fight that fucking thing, and then the helicopter comes. In the meantime, this dude hops on, and the helicopter leaves. And then they're like, oh, fuck. And then the dude, like, because the facility was going to, I was going to do a self-destruction and, you know, having the thing time pressed. It was going to be fun. And the evidence was going to be cleared, everything destroyed. So what they were going to have to do was flee to that train yard and get one of those trains out. So yeah, it was going to be kind of a last-second ditch effort. And I mean, it was going to be a massive struggle. I think one of the detectives were at least going to survive. I didn't know which one. And then it was going to be a somber story with the other one dying. And I don't know, a sacrifice thing. And gets the train hooked up as they die or something. I don't know. Or maybe they died at the helipad. Who knows? Yeah, so they flee with the train, and as they try, like, booking it back to the city, they find that the city is semi on fire. So an outbreak is happening at this point. They've been out there for, like, about, I don't know, half a week. Trying to survive and shit. Because, I mean, dude, within a few hours of just going through it all was going to be no-go. I mean, they were going to be sort of on their last limb of, like, starvation and... I mean, well, they were going to be hungry. I wouldn't say they'd be, like, decimated like that fucking long. Because they were going to find various things that were edible to eat. Because there's canned food always in these kinds of places, and they would eat and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of how that entails. So then I'm gonna have to. So yeah, as they go there, I mean, if there was gonna be a malfunction with the train, maybe, but there probably was where it was gonna probably crash into something, or he'd be able to stop it in time, and they just park like right on the outskirts of the city. So I gotta go back to the whole setup with the SWAT team, because there were two things that were happening simultaneously. So they were essentially threatening that governor with his grandkids, saying if you were to ever say a damn thing or let any of this out, say sayonara to your grandkids. Which he was getting flaky. They go and send some burglars to go kidnap his grandkids. Fail in the attempt on one, but took one. And they were gonna go out and then do a whole thing, but little did they know when they were doing that facility fell, because they never said anything because of the backstab from the Russians. So yeah, as those burglars were going to where they were supposed to rendezvous, they find that the fucking dogs and shit are around, and I mean, they got automatics, they got guns. I mean, they shoot it down, but I mean, some people get injured, and it's like, oh fuck, your closest person is gonna turn and bite you in your sleep. So I mean, eventually that will happen as they keep running away from the SWAT team, and um, those guys had radios, so they were trying to send distress signal out, like the SOS, like they can't handle the runaway, so they were supposed to do that in case something was to go wrong, and if they did have the payload. So then that their faction was going to send out a mercenary company that works for them, which I think has an FBI agent or CIA. I think it's CIA infiltrated it as an undercover. Yeah. So that mercenary company and then the SWAT team is sort of like a speed race to get the grandchild. Um, I think that at some point the mercenaries were close, but were giving updates on the situation and to find out what happened to the facility. So their objective was switched over. So the SWAT team were able to go and rescue the grandkid as the burglars killed each other essentially at some point, or the dogs got them, and the kid just hid at whatever house or they brought her to. That's in the woods. Um, yeah, so the mercenary company was redirected to go to the facility, not the treatment one, but inside the lab, and they were recommended to put on hazmat suits or gas masks, which they had a spot for because they did. It's a research center. They dealing with deadly viruses and shit. You kind of have to have that gear. So I mean, they put on the gear. They go in. I mean, they can, for the most part, do it. And they were at the time like this was happening simultaneously. Those people were going in. Uh, so like they would find some of the security guards that were still alive wearing the hazmat suits or gas masks, and I mean they were gunning them down. So that's why that none of them found any of them aside like the house could like worker abode place, like that section happened on its own, where the people killing each other or zombies killing people or they kill themselves. But like into the lab, because not all of them died necessarily. Some of them got the hazmat suits quicker than others, so it was kind of a half and half. But as the mercenaries got there and shot them all down uh, to get what they needed to get, uh, the yeah, but they didn't know where to like shoot because they were alive at the time. So then like they would eventually get up and turn. But the mercenaries go in, get what they need, and get out. I think they did encounter a couple of zombies, and they were quick enough to know where to shoot or how much damage to inflict on it to get past. They go in, they get their job done. I think what they picked up was the research documents on the virus to like synthesize it from whatever they had left. Um, some field testing data, and then that like boss battle thing. You know, all their data on it basically, and then I think yeah. So that was gonna go in tandem with when you were going to get down. There was gonna be barely anything left for like materials to work with the vaccine, because the mercenaries showed up and took most of this shit or whatever they could carry and got the fuck out. And so they did. And then I think what their idea was once that they were in the clear, they were going to blow up the facility of some sorts. Because they were going to have a secret down low thing with the military to go and strike that area because the government was sort of working with them for weapons creations. And so they were going to strike it and blow it up. That was what their idea was, but the self-destruct was set so it sort of took care of itself. And that's kind of how that all ended, because then it would have been uh sort of like them going back. Governor reunites granddaughter. He's like, I'm gonna come clean about this shit that's going on. But the issue was, as they got back, those dogs would have came down, infecting people on the outskirts, which would have ramped up at some point between a day or two. And like it was gonna come down on them all like on a particular day because that old dude was in town. They were supposed to do a Veterans Day thing because he's a veteran of World War I or World War II. And so yeah, as that like whole like service was gonna happen at some community center, maybe at the church, I don't know. It was all going to come down on them at once, and the captain was supposed to oversee security detail with the police for it, and the chief was kind of in the know of like, oh fuck, this is all going down. So he was trying to pack up all his shit. Like he was going into his secret safe, and then he was going to go home. Like he first went home for his secret safe, collect all his shit, put it in a duffel bag, and then he was gonna go back to the office where he's got another secret safe, and he was gonna put all his money, jab pack it in there, and maybe some guns and stuff. And he was gonna flee, and then I believe that sort of as that whole stuff was going down, the old dude gets informed. I think for showing he had to be there so he wouldn't be at fault, because then he would have known about it all, right? So he was there in the sense to not put any flack on himself. And that was sort of going to be like how it all ties in for the next section I'm going to talk about. And that's kind of all the pieces, I think. I just take a look again here. So there were a couple other areas that I had put on, which would have been like extra layered things, like if they were traveling more for battle map, obviously, which were a couple things. Because I think I was going to have another workers' abode place thingy, sort of near the water treatment facility. And then I guess I was putting in another one for. Oh no, these were, one was for mercenaries and the other one was for the SWAT team to go through. Yeah, and then I had a sort of underground facility set up. Uh, yeah, and then I think I had an alternative path because there was gonna be there's actually gonna be like a underground rail cart sort of thing. No, I think there was gonna be a rail cart, like what do you call it? Like
what are those? It's like a ski off thing, but it's sort of like a big. It's a big box. You know, there's glass all around. You can sit, and then you're on like this giant like huge cable that the thing rides on back at just one direction or backwards. That's it. And it was supposed to connect this facility and that facility together. And this one would have brought them to a like government facility, and there was going to be military there. It was like full government controlled military that were going to be there. I called it Fort Vena. Uh, and this was going to have like the mass produced infection stuff, but it was going to be a different strain, which I think is where I wanted to sort of link my old campaign and this together in a way. It's for like those abyss creatures, because then I kind of wanted to bring back that grotesque like horror abomination stuff, like the invisible like suck your brain out, like stab into it, take it away, and then the like Dead Space kind of looking ones too, and then the abomination ones that blew up, which is kind of what they were trying to replicate, but they were trying to get it under control so they could maintain it as like an army to go send out to fight in an area instead of just letting it run wild. So yeah, this facility ends up getting screwed up because I think the woman that ran it went insane because of what they were dealing with these creatures, because I think they seeped into her mind and she lost her sanity. So she was under the speculation that people were going to betray her or kill her. So she was locked down to the facility. No one could leave. She would systematically let some of these creatures out, killing people. I mean, in turn, was sort of making these people go insane as well and killing each other. And then that was going to be how this facility fell. Underground, at least. The people above had no idea. I think above they used Fort Vena as a. I think it was sort of not like Guantanamo Bay, but it was a place where the military would put like prisoners to interrogate for the government. And they had their quarters of living and all that. There's multiple buildings in this place. Yeah, but you would have shown up. She would have released as you showed up, thinking, I've been broken into. They're coming to steal my precious, or whatever. So she's like, I'll give you my precious then. She releases everything. She unlocks all the doors. All that shit comes up. The military's caught off guard. They're fighting that shit. As like you're there, it's just an alternative. But I mean, all this stuff was gonna happen at sort of the end of like the facility blowing up on the other end. Um, and if this was a choice of escape, I mean, this was gonna happen regardless. But yeah, the military was eventually gonna fall, and a lot of the shit that was here is gonna come into town. Whereas this, when this fell, as the military here were falling, they radioed it in to their like, not like so the president knows, but to the people that does need to know, which is sort of alerting to Briarwitch to get the fuck out. Because this stuff is happening fast, because like those grotesque abominations come crawling down, like they're pretty fucking fast, and the dogs as well. Start overpowering the city. But yeah, this military base falling really fucked them up. Otherwise, they were going to be able to hold off that facility in the woods for a time. They would have definitely been able to. But yeah, this one
I don't think I had an escape route planned for them. No, it was just, this was a complete fucking disaster. I think this is where you were gonna die. Whoever ended up here was gonna die. Because there was gonna be no escape. There's no vehicle to take you out, because, I mean, people who would try driving the vehicles out would have crashed them into a building, or, you know, they'd been so fucked up or infected, and whoever did manage to already just fled, so into a vehicle you wouldn't have been able to, because you'd be fighting for your life, man. You don't have time to hop into a vehicle, because they just come in and smash the window and drag your ass out. Or surround the vehicle and you can't even fucking move it. Because there were fucking hundreds of these zombies, essentially. Because both military would have been dying, not knowing how to shoot these things dead, and those abyss creatures too. And then all the prisoners they had would have turned. And I mean, somebody at some point would have unlocked all the fucking, like, things. Or they just died inside the prison cells. Eventually hulking out into one of those, special infected ghoul things. And just smashing their way out through the walls. But yeah, this was just the first part of this showing of this whole system of things. There is supposed to be a lot more info that I was supposed to put in because I have a lot of hand notes that I made. Handouts I made. Which entails a lot of the stories of certain characters that were inside that building. The mystery of the virus. Key, like, gameplay features. Some dates I'd have to change because all this collapsed in on itself not a month before. The people at the establishment they fucking died a month before. And then a week before the city goes into outbreak was, yeah, them going out there and surviving out there for about a week. Yeah. So, great, good. Awesome. I'll pick this up, next time. And y'all take care now.